like your investing is different than mine. It's totally
Mm-hmm.
okay. I
Absolutely.
believe everyone should invest. Like even if you get it wrong, at least you'll learn from it. Lots of people get it wrong at the beginning, but anyone who sticks with it will learn and get better as long as they're willing to learn.
Can I jump in for a
Sure.
second? So most people don't get into real estate because they're afraid of making a mistake. So if I told you you could spend $10,000 and not make any of the basic entry-level rookie mistakes because you've got someone who's going to help you, would you spend that $10,000 to not make the $100,000 mistakes?
Yeah.
So that to me is the difference between people hiring a coach or getting, some level of education versus people who don't.
Yeah.
That's literally, it can make a huge difference. Like if you invest $10,000 in your education, then you're eliminating, 80% of the mistakes that new investors make.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take action and do it, then do it.
Just a quick story to share. I remember people I met at a real estate thingamadealy, and they're all gun-ho, and they heard one of the good things to do is go directly to the sellers to buy properties. So they did that. They went directly to the seller.
Mm-hmm.
They bought a triplex or something like that. And then when they owned it, they found out, oh, there's all these problems. It's not a legal triplex.
Mm-hmm.
And they found out how much it cost to replace a fire escape.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a $60,000 bill that had to be done immediately because the home was not safe, as deemed by the fire department. And but we saved the realtor commission. Because if they had hired me, I'd that's a $60,000 fire escape you have to replace.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they saved the real estate commission.
But that's the difference between, surrounding yourself with the right people and the right knowledge and the right information and trying to go it alone because you think a couple of $1,000s in real estate commissions or coaching fees or course fees are better spent elsewhere. It's a huge difference.
Silly people. Oh, and they took it so bad because they sold them for pretty big losses.
That's unfortunate. I hate hearing stories like that. Because the thing about real estate, too, is sometimes if you can just find a way to hang on to it, you can recover a lot of those losses.
Yeah, that was a messy one because the fire department's on them. They had immediate things they had to do. Their only choice really was to go to single family.
Yeah.
So the requirement for the fire escape no longer existed, and then take it off.
Right.
Right. They just trash it versus having to try to build a new one properly.
Wow.
Right. And it wasn't in a good area. So.
And it always makes you wonder what the highest and best use for that property is too, right? Like I love looking at stuff like that and saying, okay, if it doesn't work like this, could we do this or could we do that? Could we bring in a private loan and fix it up and reposition it? Could we, knock it right down and build like what are the zoning? Do you know what I mean? Like I love looking at stuff like that. It's a puzzle, right? And you just have to figure out what the picture looks like at the end.
Yeah, it's a 100-year-old house. Lots to do.
Yeah.
They should have bought something newer. Less old. Less old is better word.
Less old.
Less old, yeah. Like buy something that's 50 years old versus 100.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Who is a candidate for coaching? At what point should someone start with a coach?
I think it really depends because I find there's sort of two waves of people. So you get the people who are starting out who are like, I don't own any property. I don't know what I don't know yet, but I know that I don't want to make mistakes, so I want to hire a coach. So that's sort of the people, the first wave of people. The second wave of people is, I own some properties, I've made some mistakes, I want to continue to grow. A lot of people come to me because they've maxed out on financing and they're like, you build a portfolio, how did you do that? Or I need to start working with joint venture partners. I need to start finding private lenders. How do I do that? So the people who already have experience typically are coming to me with a very specific problem or challenge that they want some help with. And other people come to me because they're like, I'm just overwhelmed and I don't know where to begin and I don't know what I don't know. So help me do this in a way that's going to make sense.
Right. Because at a minimum, you can review deals for people.
Oh, yeah. And I certainly do that as well. But a lot of people don't realize sort of the fundamentals you need to have in place. It's like they start throwing up drywall without having the studs in, right? So you need to... You don't want to build a house like that because it's not going to stay around long term. And it's the same thing when you build a portfolio. Why are you laughing at me?
Well, it's just I'm like, because a lot of investors want to do work without permits. Like at times you don't need permits, but
Yeah,
if
no.
you're gonna do that, go get a permit.
Yeah, no,
Have someone inspect it.
I never believe in cutting corners like that. I don't believe in saying that you're going to live in a property so that you only have to put 5 or 10% down to buy it. Like, I don't believe in any of that stuff. I feel like your reputation, even if it's just you right now, in the future you may want or need private lenders or joint venture partners. I wouldn't compromise my ethics or my integrity just to get a deal done. It's one deal is not worth it. There's a million others out there. Mm-hmm. And that I think is a big thing, that the scarcity mentality, right? Is, well, I have to do this deal and I have to make this happen because I'll never find another one. No way. There's so many investors. There are so many deals out there. You'll always find something else.